Kohl's cut its annual sales and profit forecast after posting a surprise quarterly loss on weaker consumer demand last Thursday, dragging its shares down as much as 26% in early trading. According to Reuters, discretionary spend on Kohl's middle-income customers continues to be pressured by a number of economic factors, including high interest rates and inflation, while it has remained steady among high-income customers, Chief Executive Officer Tom Kingsbury said on a post-earnings call. The company forecasts fiscal 2024 net sales to fall between 2 and 4% compared with its previous expectation of between a 1% drop and a 1% rise. And it also reported a per-share loss of 24 cents in the first quarter, while analysts were expecting a profit of 4 cents per share. Chris, what's your quick take here on what's happening over at Kohl's?
Oh, man, I think there's a ton of implications to this story. I mean, first, on the one hand, you have Ulta coming out and literally saying recently that Sephora at Kohl's is hurting its business, which means everything at Kohl's must be in everything else at Kohl's besides Sephora must be in really horrible shape. I mean, that's number one. And, you know, that it also says that, as we've long surmised, that, you know, people may be going to Kohl's for Sephora, but they're not going for much else. They're not cross-shopping. That's what that tells me. Second point is, what is Kohl's reason for being? You know, if you're just going to be a set of shop-in-shops, aren't you just really a small mall at the end of the day? And so if I value my time, why wouldn't I just go to the mall where I have more selection?
Yeah.
Right? And so third, that also brings up the point about Macy's small store strategy. Like, if Kohl's is struggling and Macy's is essentially going to think about putting the same idea into practice, why should that work any better over the long term? So those are the three takeaways I have from this story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add there, except for, like, it's not dead yet. So my thing,
it's not dead yet.
It's the Monty Python, right? I think it's important to hold out just to see what the lift is that they get from Babies R Us. And I don't necessarily think that being a smaller mall is the wrong strategy for them if they have the right partners that are in there. Sephora's a big trip driver. I think Babies R Us will be a good trip driver. But it also sounds like in that time period, as they're launching this, Kohl's needs to really double down on what their pricing strategy is, because it sounds like they have there's a big miss when people are coming in for those Sephora products, that they're still full price items. So they're not doing the discounting until it's too late. So their clearancing strategy, from what I was able to gather from the research that I did for this story, they're going big on clearance. They're doing extra 50% off clearance items because they waited too long. They were trying to hold at that.
But their clearance volume was down over the last quarter.
But they're still. But what from I'm just saying, from the research that I've been doing, they are not clearancing at the right times. Their volume is down. I'm just saying it's at the right moment. So when I go in there as a Kohl's customer, yes, I might be getting Kohl's cash to give me $20 off, but that Nike sweatshirt is going to be still less expensive from another retailer, from Dick's, from Macy's, from somebody else. And then they're waiting until it's way too late, till that season is over, to do the big markdowns. And then they're having to more drastically reduce their clearance items. So I think that's something that, as Kohl's, I think they really need to get a handle on as they're bringing in Babies R Us, as they're trying to kind of bring in this new product environment into the overall ecosystem at the Kohl's store.